We've got a huge new update for the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, and it has all been kicking off between Jake and Logan with who got the fight first, who didn't get the fight first, who declined the fight, who accepted the fight, and so much more. And we're going to be diving into all of it in this video. So, the first thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about is the fact that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson want their fight to be a professional fight and put on their professional records. When this first came out, everybody assumed that this was going to be an exhibition match, considering that Mike Tyson is in his 60s now, Jake Paul's almost 30, so he's about 40 years younger than Mike, and they've just come out recently to state that they both want it to be put on their professional records. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are aiming for this for an official professional sanctioned bout. When I put a short out about this the other day, people all were like, how could this possibly be a thing? How can this be vetted? Who's gonna sanction this fight? What body is gonna sanction this fight when Mike Tyson is in his 60s and Jake Paul is in his 20s? There's a 40-year age gap. But for some reason, they both want it to be a professional recorded fight. Who knows? It could well be, or it could well become one of those fights. It's not been confirmed yet as to whether that's going to be the case. I think they're probably still looking for someone to to sanction it before they can go ahead with that. But yeah, that's one of the first huge updates regarding this situation. Now, another thing is we've had some training footage actually come out from Mike Tyson's camp, and he looks incredible for a man that's 67, I believe, or 57. Can't remember how old Mike is now. 57, almost. Basically, he's in his pushing 60 or in his 60s. I can't remember which one it is now, but he looks fierce. Take a look at this footage.
It's day one. The fun just begun. It's day one.
We just need to watch that again. I'm so sorry. How is he still that quick, that powerful? He is a beast. And like he says, it's just day one. He's probably been training for this fight for a few, he's known about this fight for a while, I'm sure. But, he looks on top form still. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Jake Paul matches up to something like this, because he is unlike anything that Jake Paul has ever fought before. And he lost to Tommy Fury, let's not forget. So, the jury's out. It's going to be really interesting to see. But there has been beef. Well, obviously, between KSI and Jake Paul. That's been going on for the longest of times. Like, we all know about this fight, this beef. But the beef now, or the issue now, is KSI obviously, put out a bit of a disappointed tweet when this fight was announced. He was like, what are these guys doing? And he's been very vocal about the fight kind of being a bit of a mismatch and like, what is this? But Jake Paul, when he spoke to Aiden Ross on his live stream and podcast, he said that he still believes KSI will never fight him. And this has obviously come off the back of, pretty big backlash and stuff like this. The Jake Paul KSI fight it's been on the cards for years. It's been written in the stars, and it's just never come to be. It's this big ticket fight that, it'll be the fight of the century. Like, the beef is there, the hype is there, but they've just not done it. And I think we're getting to a point now where that hype for the KSI versus Jake Paul fight is starting to fall off. If they had done this maybe like 2 years ago, or even last year, instead of each other fighting Tommy Fury, then fighting each other, I think that would have been a far greater fight, and the hype was at its peak at that point. Now it's like, yeah, we know that you two want to fight. You've been back and forth for about 4 years now. Like, will you just get on with it? It's not as exciting. But this is what Jake Paul had to say on the matter when he spoke to Aiden Ross.
I want to see you and KSI again in the fucking ring, bro. Can we please see it happen? By the way, I'm walking out with you, bro.
He's not gonna do it. I've said it since before I fought Gib. I've said he's never gonna fight me.
Honest to God, I probably haven't heard him speak about fighting KSI in like the last 8 months. Yeah, you seem so past it.
I feel like
I am. No,
the
I
last
am.
time we talked about it, I think it was with me.
He wants to sacrifice, obviously, like, his whole reputation and lose. Of course, I'll do it. Like, I'm ready whenever. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, he's not even wanting to fight anymore.
Fans want it bad.
Yeah, but when that fight was supposed to be happening, again, KSI didn't want to do it then because he was going on tour and playing in a pub. He could sell like 1,000-person venue. That's why he stopped doing it, because guess what? If you're doing that as a touring artist, you're just breaking even. So that's why he's not on tour anymore, because it takes a lot of fucking energy to do 20 cities, and he's breaking even in 1,000-person venues. Like, he's gonna focus on Prime and Sidemen.
So there you go. Jake Paul doesn't think the fight's gonna happen anymore. Personally, it's hard to see the fight actually happening at this point because the hype is just not there. It's just, I can't see this fight going ahead anymore because, you know, like I've just said, where is the hype for this? You know, but Jake Paul did also go on to, you know, respond with Aiden Ross again on his live stream about the criticism that KSI gave Jake again when this fight came out, and this again came on Aiden's live. So Jake Paul responds to KSI's criticism about him fighting Mike Tyson. This is what Jake Paul had to say to that.
But you want to know the difference between Mike Tyson and KSI?
What?
Is that Mike Tyson will actually fight me. So who's a bitch now? Like, that's the difference, bro. Like,
That's true.
Oh, Mike's this. Mike's 57. But Mike signed the contract, you fucking bitch, KSI.
No, it's
like,
true.
Oh, you could say whatever you want, but you're fat running around doing sideman YouTube videos, and I'm changing the sport of boxing, the biggest fight of the 21st century. Netflix. What could anybody possibly say while you're
can't say
making
shit.
FIFA reaction videos, bro? I'm sorry, but we're just not the same, and you're 30 years old. Like, say what you want, but you also said a year ago that Mike Tyson would beat you and that you wouldn't take the fight because of that. So make up your fucking mind. You just are a cowardly bitch that, like, is so insecure that when someone else is doing something good that you have to try and rip them. But you.
So there you go. Now, I want you to let me know in the comments, do you think the KSI and Jake Paul fight will happen? And alongside that, do you want it to happen anymore? Because I was all for this when it first came about like 2-3 years ago. I was still for it 2 years ago. I was still for it last year, but this year I'm like I hate to admit it, but I think Jake's got a point. Like, he is committed to this boxing fight. And he's committed to his boxing. Regardless of what you think of Jake as a fighter, you know, there's no denying that he is committed. He's not taken breaks as KSI has. He's not, you know, dipped in and out of it like KSI has. He's been committed. He's like seen it through. And KSI, you know, he's obviously got his hands full. He's got his music. He's got his channels. He's got Prime. You know, he's got all this stuff. And I just don't think they're on that same level anymore. I truly, I hate to say it, but I do think that Jake is levels above KSI in boxing now. And I think KSI knows that Jake would probably beat him. But regardless of the fact, I still want to hear your thoughts and opinions. But there has also been some issues with Logan and Jake. What a shock, I know. But Logan has been very vocal on Impulsive when he had, which is his podcast if you didn't already know, when he had KSI on his podcast, when he said that he was offered a fight with Mike Tyson first, but declined it, supposedly. Now that's what Logan said, and Jake did respond to this, but this is what Logan had to say first.
For both Mike and Jake, the bag. Like, at what point you can't, I don't know if you could say no. I said no to fighting Mike Tyson.
I'd say no.
I was offered it. And
You actually offered?
Yeah, I was offered it, but not on Netflix, and not for a big ass bag. It was just like a oh, this could be a real fight. Because I've been asked before. I'm sure you have too. Do you think you could beat Mike Tyson? And my answer was and will be yes.
Well, yeah,
I just think
now?
Yes, I just think he's too old, bro. That's crazy.
God,
He's
Like, the
senile.
thing is, he'd be great for a round, maybe.
For both Mike.
So there you go. So that in Logan Paul's words, He was offered the Mike Tyson fight. He said no because he feels like Mike's too old. He feels like he'd beat him. He feels like it's not... He didn't get offered the same big package deal like what Jake did with Netflix and all the rest of it. So he said no. But apparently that was never the case, according to Jake Paul. Now, Jake's been very vocal very recently about, you know, there's been constant online feuds between Jake and Logan. You know, Logan saying things and kind of putting Jake down, and, you know, Jake kind of being like, what's this about? All the rest of it. And he's come out recently to say that when Logan is around KSI, because KSI's energy is very negative towards Jake, Logan is influenced by that, even though he's his brother, and his energy towards Jake becomes negative, and he kind of puts him down. That's what Jake has come out to say before. You can find that online if you wanted to check that out. But yeah, Jake came out to say some very interesting things about the Jake Paul and Logan situation.
My brother and I's relationship sometimes has to be like aired out, but it seems as if the court of public opinion is the only thing that like steers him in the right direction. It is weird to lie, to blatantly just lie. We signed a deal with Netflix, and our goal was to go get another fighter to fight me. We were the ones that brought the Netflix deal to Tyson. So Tyson was never in the market offering people the fights for anyone to turn down. So yes, it is weird to go online and lie. I am always having to defend myself and be undermined and be like little broed, and then I have to just not allow it to happen. But I'm just like taking shots, and then I have to like explain because I get thrown into it. Why is my own brother trying to make me look like the second option for Tyson? Like, oh yeah, I turned down that deal. No, you didn't. That's a complete lie. Like, and why are you fabricating lies?
It's the big brother syndrome.
Man. And then it's always
So there it is. I mean, I personally, I've never really been fond of Jake, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't particularly, you know, I've always found him really irritating. I've always found him to be just that guy that would do anything for attention, and he absolutely was. But I've seen like a level of change and maturity come to Jake in like the last kind of year, maybe 2 years. Don't get me wrong, he still has those moments where he's like unbearably annoying, but he's had this level of maturity that I think, like, you know, he's kind of mature beyond Logan to degrees. And, you know, I think I don't know what the true situation is. No one really knows, but, you know, one of these guys is lying. But there's some updates for you regarding the, Jake Paul Logan beef, Jake Paul KSI beef, and the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. Some updates for you, so get down in the comments. What do you think? Firstly, do you think that this should be a professionally sanctioned boxing match, or do you think it should be an exhibition? Secondly, do you think the KSI Jake Paul fight should go ahead or would still go ahead? And thirdly, what do you make of the supposed Logan Paul turning down Mike Tyson fight? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on all of this down in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button if you have not already. Subscribe if you're new, and tick on my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. And until next time, I hope that you guys have enjoyed. I cannot wait to see you in the next one, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.